This is the boat that carries the pilot who guides giant container ships into and out of the bay. Ships that are just as big as the Transamerica Pyramid turned on its side, and in the case of the Cosco Busan, even a little bigger.
You're working with such a mass, a huge mass, that you have to plan well ahead, and it's definitely, you can't just step on the brakes, and it takes a while.
The pilots have a full-time job climbing on board these humongous ships and directing the crew through the shallow and foggy San Francisco Bay.
Sometimes your visibility from the bridge of that ship is you cannot see up to a quarter mile in front of you, and it takes maybe a quarter mile to turn the ship, and maybe a half a mile to stop the ship.
And the visibility when the crash happened was only 300 feet, so bad the crew couldn't even see from one end of the ship to the other. We've obtained an animated map that shows the Cosco Busan as it crashed into the Bay Bridge last week. The map comes from a website called Boating SF that actually tracks ships on the bay using GPS, like what you might have in your car. Let's take a look. Right over here is the Cosco Busan as it leaves the Port of Oakland and slowly picks up speed. This little blue marker behind it, that's actually a tugboat that follows the ship and helps it if it needs to make a tight turn. These yellow markers over here, those are the towers of the Bay Bridge. Now watch the ship as it crosses the bay, picking up speed. It'll top off a little over 10 knots, or about 12 miles an hour. And then it starts to head toward the Bay Bridge at an angle. Look at this. At one point, it's actually going parallel to the Bay Bridge. And then probably with the help of that tugboat, it takes a sharp right turn at the last minute and boom, crashes into the bridge fender, which immediately knocks its speed down to about 7 knots. Now, poor visibility could have obviously been a factor here, but pilots tell us that wind and water currents could also be to blame, and we'll have to hear more from investigators to really find out. Jonathan Bloom, KRON 4 News.